You're doing everything you were told to do. You went to school, got the degree, landed the job. You show up every day, work hard, pay your bills on time. You're not reckless with money. You're not buying things you obviously can't afford. By every visible measure, you're responsible. And yet, the savings account looks embarrassingly thin for someone your age. The retirement number, if you've even calculated it, feels like a cruel joke. You watch people who seem to earn less than you somehow buy homes, take vacations, invest confidently. You wonder what they figured out that you missed, what lesson got skipped, what knowledge everyone else received that somehow never reached you. Here's what actually happened. Nobody taught you how money works. Not really. School gave you algebra and essay structure and historical dates, information you've never used since graduation, while completely ignoring the one subject that affects every single day of your adult life. So you learned by accident, by mistake, by figuring things out years later than you should have, after the damage was already done. This video contains 21 money lessons I wish someone had told me earlier. Some of these would have saved me thousands of dollars. Others would have made me hundreds of thousands. A few would have changed the entire trajectory of my financial life if I'd understood them a decade sooner. You're going to recognize yourself in some of these. That recognition might sting a little. Good. That means you're paying attention. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. Your income is not your wealth. This is the first and most fundamental lesson most people never learn. You can earn $200,000 a year and be broke. You can earn $50,000 and be building serious wealth. The number on your paycheck tells you almost nothing about your financial health. Wealth is what you keep, what you invest, what compounds over time. Income is just the raw material, and if you convert all of it into lifestyle, you have nothing. The doctor earning $300,000 who spends $300,000 is poorer than the teacher earning $60,000 who invests $10,000 annually. One has a high income and zero wealth. The other has modest income and a growing net worth. Stop measuring your financial success by what you earn. Start measuring it by what you own. Lesson 2. Compound interest is either your greatest ally or your worst enemy. There's no neutral ground here. Compound growth is always working. The only question is which direction. When you invest, compound interest works for you. Your money earns returns. Those returns earn returns. The growth accelerates over time. A single dollar invested at age 25 becomes roughly $20 by age 65 at average market returns. When you carry debt, compound interest works against you. Your balance accrues interest. That interest accrues more interest. The hole deepens faster than you can dig out. Credit card debt at 20% APR doubles in less than 4 years if you make no payments. Every financial decision you make either puts compound growth on your team or hands it to your opponents. There's no sideline. The game is always being played. Lesson 3. Time is more valuable than money. A 25-year-old who invests $200 monthly will have more at 65 than a 40-year-old who invests $400 monthly, despite contributing less total money, despite having a lower income during their investing years. Time in the market beats almost everything else. The returns on early money compound for so many additional years that late money can rarely catch up, no matter how large the contributions. This is why waiting to invest is so expensive. You're not just delaying wealth building, you're permanently sacrificing the most powerful years of potential growth. Every year you wait costs more than the last. Start now, whatever amount you can. The habit matters more than the number. Lesson 4. The biggest expense in your life is the one you never see. It's not rent, not taxes, not food or transportation. It's the wealth you never built because you didn't know how. The person who starts investing at 25 versus 35 doesn't just have 10 extra years of contributions, they have 10 extra years of compounding, which translates to hundreds of thousands of dollars by retirement. The person who kept $30,000 in a checking account for a decade instead of investing it didn't just miss out on growth, they actively lost purchasing power to inflation while simultaneously missing 10 years of market returns. The biggest expense is opportunity cost, the wealth that could have been yours if you'd known what to do. This cost never shows up on a statement, which is exactly why most people never notice they're paying it. Lesson 5. Paying yourself first isn't optional. The default approach is to pay bills, fund lifestyle, and save whatever remains. Nothing ever remains. There's always another expense, another purchase that feels necessary, another reason why this month isn't the month to start saving seriously. The remaining amount approaches zero with stunning consistency. Flip the order. When income arrives, the first money that moves goes to savings and investments, automatically, before you see it, before lifestyle has a chance to consume it. What remains after paying yourself first is what you have to spend. Your lifestyle adjusts to fit the constraint. This feels uncomfortable for exactly 1 month. Then it becomes normal. Pay yourself last and you guarantee yourself nothing. Pay yourself first and you guarantee yourself a future. Lesson 6. Your bank is not your friend. Banks are businesses. Their profit comes from your money, either by lending it out at higher rates than they pay you, or by collecting fees for services you didn't realize cost anything. The average checking account earns 0.07% interest. The average high-yield savings account at an online bank pays 4 to 5%. On a $10,000 emergency fund, that's the difference between $7 annually and $450. The bank with the convenient branch location is charging you for that convenience. You just don't see the invoice because it comes in the form of interest you don't receive. Move your savings to a high-yield account. Eliminate accounts with monthly fees. Stop subsidizing real estate and salaries with money that should be earning real returns. Lesson 7. Credit card rewards are not worth credit card debt. The average credit card rewards rate is around 2%. The average credit card interest rate exceeds 22%. If you carry a balance, the interest you pay overwhelms any rewards you earn by a factor of 10. You're not gaming the system is gaming you. Credit card rewards only make sense if you pay the full balance every single month without exception. If you can't do that consistently, the rewards are a trap designed to encourage spending that benefits the card company far more than it benefits you. The best credit card strategy for most people is simple. Use it like a debit card, never spend more than you have, and pay in full before interest accrues. Everything else is marketing. Lesson 8. An emergency fund isn't optional. It's foundational. Without cash reserves, every unexpected expense becomes a financial crisis. The car repair goes on a credit card. The medical bill creates debt. The job loss forces liquidation of investments at the worst possible time. One emergency can unravel years of progress. And emergencies aren't rare. They're inevitable. The only question is whether you've prepared for them. 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a high-yield savings account. Not invested, not locked up. Liquid and accessible within 24 hours. This money earns modest returns, and that's fine. Its job isn't growth. Its job is protection. It's the foundation that keeps everything else from collapsing when life gets difficult. Lesson 9. The goal is to buy assets, not stuff. Assets put money in your pocket. Stuff takes money out. A stock portfolio is an asset. It generates returns. A car is stuff. It depreciates, requires insurance, demands maintenance, and consumes fuel. A rental property is an asset. It produces income. A fancy watch is stuff. It sits in a drawer and slowly loses value. The wealthy spend their money on assets that generate more money. The broke spend their money on stuff that impresses other people for a few weeks before becoming invisible. Every dollar you spend on stuff is a dollar that could have been buying assets. This isn't about never enjoying anything. It's about understanding the trade-off and making conscious choices. Lesson 10. Lifestyle inflation is the wealth killer. You get a raise, you upgrade the apartment, you get a bonus, you take a nicer vacation. Every income increase gets immediately absorbed by lifestyle expansion. 5 years later, you earn significantly more than you used to, and you feel exactly as broke. This is lifestyle inflation. Your expenses rise automatically to match your income. What felt like luxuries become necessities. The upgraded baseline becomes the new normal. And somehow, despite earning more than ever, the financial stress remains unchanged. The antidote is intentional. When income increases, direct a portion to investments before lifestyle has a chance to claim it. Let yourself enjoy some of the increase, but not all of it. Force wealth building to happen before spending adapts. Lesson 11. Your car is probably too expensive. The average new car payment exceeds $770 monthly in 2026. Add insurance, fuel, maintenance, and registration, and you're easily above $1,000 monthly for transportation. That's $12,000 annually. Invested at 10% returns over 30 years, that's over $2 million. Your car is not an investment. It's a depreciating liability that loses value every single day you own it. The moment you drive it off the lot, you've lost money you'll never recover. Buy used. Buy reliable. Buy something that gets you where you need to go without consuming your wealth-building capacity. The millionaires next door aren't driving luxury vehicles. They're driving Toyotas and Hondas while their money works in the market instead of sitting in the driveway. Lesson 12. Small purchases compound just like investments. $5 a day doesn't feel significant. It's a coffee, a snack, a small convenience. But $5 daily is $150 monthly, $1,800 annually, $18,000 over a decade, before accounting for what that money could have earned if invested. At 10% average returns, that daily $5 would grow to over $30,000 in 10 years. Over $170,000 in 30 years. The individual purchase isn't the problem. The unawareness is the problem. When small expenses escape scrutiny because they feel trivial, they multiply without accountability. Track everything for a month. See where the small stuff actually goes. You're not eliminating joy. You're creating consciousness where autopilot used to rule. Lesson 13. Debt payoff order matters. Not all debt is equal. A 3% mortgage and a 22% credit card balance require completely different approaches. The avalanche method says to pay minimums on everything, then throw extra money at the highest interest rate debt first. This minimizes total interest paid and gets you out of debt fastest mathematically. The snowball method says to pay off the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate, then roll that payment into the next smallest. This builds psychological momentum even if it costs slightly more in interest. Both work. The worst approach is no approach, making minimums everywhere while high-interest debt compounds against you for years. Pick a method. Execute it systematically. Stop letting debt grow while you figure out the perfect strategy. Lesson 14. Your future self is a real person. Every financial decision you make either helps or harms someone you'll eventually become. Skipping investments today? You're stealing from the person who'll want to retire at 65. Running up credit card debt? You're forcing a future version of yourself to pay it off with interest. Building an emergency fund? You're protecting someone who'll eventually face a crisis they can't predict. The disconnect between present and future self is one of the biggest barriers to good financial behavior. The present self wants comfort now. The future self needs resources later. Treating your future self as a real person you're responsible for changes how you make decisions. Lesson 15. Tax-advantaged accounts are free money you're ignoring. A 401k with employer match is the closest thing to free money that exists. If your employer matches 50% up to 6% of your salary, you're getting an immediate 50% return before your investment even grows. A Roth IRA lets your investments grow completely tax-free. Contribute after-tax dollars now, pay zero taxes on withdrawals in retirement. Whatever gains accumulate over 40 years, all yours, tax-free. In 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 to a 401k, plus an additional $8,000 if you're over 50. For IRAs, the limit is $7,500 plus $1,100 catch-up contribution for those 50 and older. These accounts exist because the government wants you to save for retirement. The tax advantages are significant. Ignoring them is leaving substantial money on the table. Lesson 16. You don't need to pick stocks. The financial industry wants you to believe investing is complicated, that you need expertise, research, constant attention. You don't. A simple index fund tracking the total stock market requires no knowledge, no stock picking, no market timing. You're buying a small piece of hundreds of companies at once. When the market rises, you rise with it. Historically, these funds have delivered average returns around 10% annually over long periods. Most actively managed funds underperform simple index funds after fees. The professionals trying to beat the market usually lose to people who just bought the whole market and walked away. Set up automatic monthly investments into a low-cost index fund. Don't check it obsessively. Don't panic when markets drop. Time in the market beats timing the market virtually every time. Lesson 17. Insurance is about catastrophic protection, not small claims. Insurance exists to protect against events that would devastate your finances, not minor inconveniences you could handle from savings. The purpose of health insurance is to prevent a serious illness from bankrupting you. The purpose of auto insurance is to cover accidents that cost more than you could pay out of pocket. The purpose of homeowners insurance is to rebuild after disasters. Raising deductibles and self-insuring small stuff often saves money overall. The premium reduction exceeds the occasional small claim you'd have to pay yourself. Don't insure against inconvenience. Insure against catastrophe. Use your emergency fund for the small stuff. Lesson 18. Comparison is financial self-destruction. Your neighbor's new car, your coworker's vacation photos, your friend's house upgrade. Social media feeds full of people living lives that look more expensive than yours. Most of what you're seeing is debt. The cars are financed. The vacations are on credit cards. The houses are mortgaged to the limit. You're comparing your actual financial position to other people's carefully curated appearances. Even when the spending is real and debt-free, the comparison is still toxic. Someone else's financial choices have nothing to do with your situation. Their income, expenses, priorities, and goals are different from yours. Run your own race. Define your own success. Stop measuring yourself against highlight reels that probably aren't even accurate. Lesson 19. Your skills are your best investment. No one can take away what you know how to do. Markets can crash, jobs can disappear, assets can lose value overnight. But skills that generate income remain yours regardless of external circumstances. The investment with the highest return is often education that increases your earning power. Learning to code, mastering sales, developing expertise that commands premium compensation. These pay dividends for decades. Spend time and money developing skills that make you more valuable. The return on investment frequently exceeds anything the stock market offers, especially early in your career when income growth potential is highest. Lesson 20. Automation beats motivation every time. Motivation fluctuates. Some months you feel disciplined, other months you don't. Systems work regardless of how you feel. Automatic transfers that move money to savings the moment your paycheck arrives. Automatic investments that buy index funds monthly without requiring a decision. Automatic bill payments that prevent late fees and credit damage. When good financial behavior is automatic, it happens consistently, whether you're feeling motivated or not. You remove yourself from the equation entirely. Set up the systems once, let them run. Focus your actual attention on earning more, not on remembering to move money around. Lesson 21. It's never too late to start, but it's always expensive to wait. Maybe you're reading this at 35, wishing you'd started at 25. Maybe you're 45, thinking the window has closed. The window never closes. It just gets more expensive. Someone starting at 40 can still build significant wealth over 25 years. The contributions need to be larger. The lifestyle constraints need to be tighter. But the math still works. What doesn't work is using past mistakes as an excuse for present inaction. Every day you wait costs more than the day before. The compound growth you're missing accelerates with every delay. Start now. Whatever your age, whatever your starting point, whatever mistakes you've made before. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Here's what connects every lesson on this list. Financial literacy. Every mistake people make with money, the lifestyle inflation, the ignored retirement accounts, the credit card debt, the skipped emergency fund, the expensive cars, the comparison spending, traces back to the same root cause. Nobody taught them how money actually works. School covered subjects you've never used while skipping the one topic that affects every single day of your adult life. Parents did their best, but often didn't understand the principles themselves. The financial industry profits from your confusion, so they're not exactly motivated to simplify things. What you've just read isn't secret knowledge. It's not reserved for the wealthy or the financially gifted. It's basic financial literacy. the information everyone needs and almost no one receives. I made a complete breakdown that goes deeper on all of this: how debt compounds against you, how credit scores are calculated, how retirement accounts create tax advantages most people ignore, how to build systems that make wealth building automatic instead of aspirational, how compound interest works when it's on your side instead of working against you. That video covers everything the school system skipped, everything you should have learned before entering adult life but didn't, everything that separates people who build wealth from people who earn well but stay broke. If more than a few lessons on this list felt uncomfortably familiar, if you recognize patterns you're still living today, that video is your next step. Because here's the truth about money lessons: knowing them isn't enough. Understanding them intellectually doesn't change your financial life. Implementation does. Systems do. Actually restructuring how you earn, spend, save, and invest is what transforms knowledge into wealth. You now have 21 lessons that could have changed your trajectory if you'd learned them earlier. The question is what you do with them from this point forward. The past is fixed. The future isn't. Every principle in this video can be implemented starting today. You can set up automatic investments this week. You can open a high-yield savings account this afternoon. You can calculate your emergency fund target right now and start building toward it. The gap between knowing and doing is where most people's financial lives go to die. They learn what they should do, feel momentarily inspired, then return to the same patterns that created the problem. Don't be most people. Pick 3 lessons that hit closest to home. Implement them this month, not next month, not when things settle down, not when you have more money, this month. Then pick 3 more. 1 year from now, your financial position will look completely different. 5 years from now, the compound effects will be undeniable. 20 years from now, you'll look back at this moment as the turning point, the day you stopped wishing you'd known earlier and started acting on what you know now. The lessons aren't complicated. The implementation isn't complicated. The only complicated part is deciding to actually do it. That decision is yours. Make it.